It's Wednesday, June the 6th. I am half a bottle of wine deep, and I've stopped caring. I didn't even rearrange the stories. This is hardware, crypto, and AI/robots. They're going to be in that order. Otherwise, I didn't try to put like the Tesla stories together. Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll be together. I don't know, but that's what we're going to be. And you know what? I'm not going to drink right now. Let's just get right into it. Nvidia, cloud server platform, and AI, high performance computing. So they got these. Here's a picture of it. Let's check out a picture of it. Now look at that thing. That's cool looking, right? That is 16 V100 GPUs, and they're trying to tie the AI machine with the high performance cloud computing type machine. So it's like they're thinking, hey, you're basically using these for the same reason, right? You want to do some hardcore AI stuff. You want to do some hardcore high performance stuff. It's in the same package, right? You're going to give it to you. It's going to have 16 V100 GPUs. It's going to be reasonably priced at about $400,000. So maybe get a payday loan. But if you got that kind of cash, that is a lot of computing power. They talk about the teraflops and so forth in this article. I don't remember, but it's in there, and you can click on it and look at it. If you're the 1% who's looking for that kind of performance, but it's good news, right? More AI, more high performance computing that you can get. Nvidia, why not? Why not? California. Oh, California. They are going to get digital license plate. This article is like half about Folsom Prison. And Folsom Prison got jack shit to do with license plate other than the fact that they make them there. And it's like, oh, the prisoners are going to be able to work. But the digital license plate, why would you care? Well, first of all, let's talk about what it is. It's e-ink, like a, what's that Amazon thing called? I don't know. Amazon makes an e-reader. Kindle? Anyway, e-ink display, so the numbers can actually change in real time, right? It's not a set license plate. It is a digital display for your license plate. Why would anybody want that? Who cares? Well, maybe you'd like to renew your registration remotely. Doesn't that sound cool? It's only $700 and $7 a month. Makes perfect sense, right? Oh, by the way, they can track your location as long as you have this. Right? Wonderful. Who wouldn't want it? So you can only get this in high-end cars. It's going to be like a douchebag kind of thing, kind of like the Segways, You're going to see like a McLaren with a digital plate, and you're going to know that there's an asshole inside that car. But it's coming. We're all going to get it soon. That means they're going to be tracking our locations through our license plates. It's not a good thing, in case you didn't know. We don't want digital license plate. We talked about Dubai having these, but now California too, which is kind of like a mini Dubai, in some ways. Atari has launched Linux gaming. God, Linux gaming, you're all probably fully erect, right? Because, Linux gaming, it's the best thing ever. Except it's not. It's a Bristol Ridge A1 with an R7 for $200. For $200, you get a Bristol Ridge A1 with an R7 and the shitty UI and all the old Atari 2600 ROMs. The Atari 2600 ROMs that you could run on a Raspberry Pi for $30 or less. You get the old generation Raspberry Pis and run those. This is stupid. This is a stupid thing. And if you buy it, you're stupid. But you can buy it. It's Indiegogo or something. They couldn't even raise money. It's ridiculous. And the shitty CPU, they're not going to be able to run modern games. They're not going to be able to develop newer console software for this. This is just going to be for crappy like mobile ports and the old Atari 2600 library. This is ridiculous. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed for them. How about the Apple Watch? What should we do with people who wear Apple Watches? Should we just lock them up? Is that a reasonable thing to do with Apple Watch people? Maybe. In this case, a woman was fined. Why was she fined? Because she was looking at her Apple Watch. She was parked next to a cop. Pro tip: if you're parked next to a cop, just keep your hand on the wheel and stare forward. I don't care if you look suspicious. Just do it anyway. But that's not what she did. She looked at her watch, and she looked at it 4 times, according to the cop. And the cop, the real damning thing here is that the light changed and everybody went on with their way except for this bitch. What did she do? She sat there looking at her watch. Yeah, reading emails or what, text or whatever. Playing Bejeweled, whatever she was doing. And this cop noticed that and he said, that's distracted driving. And I agree. That is distracted driving. So the court basically had to rule, is the Apple Watch basically a mobile device strapped to your wrist? Or is it just a watch? Because you're allowed to look at the time when you stop at a red light. But are you allowed to look at your Apple Watch? The answer is no. You must not. You must not look at your Apple Watch while you're stopped at a red light. So remember it. Store that in your noggin. I'm not going to drink to that one because I agree with it. But yeah. I know someone who we both know, who checks his phone at every red light. And that's not good. It's not cool. But he won't stop doing it because he's got an addiction. You know who else has an addiction? Crypto miners. They're addicted to their filthy crypto mining. And ASUS is an enabler. Hot off the heels of their 19 GPU motherboard, they've pushed it one further. They're like the razor companies who keep adding blades. They just keep adding GPUs. And now the 20 GPU motherboard. That's right. That's right. There's a motherboard. And you think to yourself, how? How are you going to fit 20 GPUs on a motherboard? What kind of case are you going to have? What kind of cooling situation are you going to need for 20 GPUs? Well, ASUS has developed this technology that runs the GPU over USB. So you can have 20 GPUs. Most of you hate crypto miners, so you don't care about this story. It just makes you angry. It's going to be like $300-$400 if you want one. So, yeah. $300-$400 plus 20 video cards, which is, that's pricey. Oh, I've clicked an ad. The other thing about that story is, they talk about the availability situation of video cards. And they talk about ASICs. And some companies are actually developing ASICs that are effective now for Ethereum and Zcash. Is that the other one? But these cryptocurrencies that were originally sort of designed to not reward ASICs and not get that centralization problem that Bitcoin has, they're now getting ASICs. So will it be forked? That's the real question. Are we going to keep these cryptocurrencies to try and stop the ASICs, or are we going to let those ASICs conquer them? And then some other cryptocurrency is going to step up and design against those ASICs. Is it just an infinite arms race? I don't know. I hate the name of this company. What a Huawei? What a terrible name. It doesn't sound like it's spelled. It's stupid. I hate it. And now everybody has one more reason to hate it. They, traditionally a champion of the custom phone ROM, are locking down their bootloader. They even went so far as to have a support section on their website to show you how to deal with the bootloader and custom ROMs. Well, no more. They're locking it down. And their explanation is just a bunch of bullshit. You can read it, but it's just marketing jargon. The reality is, like other phone companies, they want to control what goes in their phones because they want to be in control. They want to lock you out. So if you're a Huawei user, not only are the new phones going to lock down the bootloader, they're putting a 60-day window before the old phones get updated to lock out the bootloader. You got to drink to that, right? Because that is disgusting. Speaking of disgusting phones, man, I didn't rearrange these stories, but they're flowing nicely, don't you think? iPhones are going to get unlock over the NFC. Near field communication, I believe is what that stands for. So NFC is what they use on their payment processor, Apple Pay. If you use Apple Pay, you know how that works. You go through the app and you pay, and excuse me, it shows up on the payment system. Well, now they're going to extend this. They're going to push an update, and it's going to unlock your home and maybe your car, and it's going to do all this crazy stuff with that near field that should not be part of your phone. And if your phone gets stolen, yeah, I don't know. What happens if your phone gets stolen? Bad things. So maybe you're the kind of person that gets excited about that, and if so, you're wrong. Qualcomm, who was going to be Broadcom but has been rebuffed by the U.S. government, they've launched a new chip, and this chip is specifically for augmented reality and virtual reality. You know those two technologies that no one seems to care about? Well, they've got a chip for that. These chips are more powerful, and they are built solely for these platforms. A lot of VR and AR devices already use ARM chips, but these claim to be better in terms of performance and battery. Specifically, what they do that is more interesting is the branching algorithms, the prediction, and how it fetches things from memory, the caching. So those have been tweaked. So they've discovered in AR and VR, you need to reduce the latency in certain ways. And by changing the branching and changing the caching, they have improved that quite a bit to make the AR, VR situation better. I don't know. I'm not adopting VR yet. I don't think it's ready yet. It has not convinced me. And another thing that's not getting adopted, I got nothing for that one. Film cameras. So Canon, traditionally known as a huge retailer of film cameras, has sold the last. I forget the model. They should have put a note in the EOS 1V. They should have put a note in that last shipment and be like, you are literally the last person that's ever going to own a film Canon. Because they're not doing them anymore. That's it. It's over. They're running through the last of the stock, which are almost through, and after that's over, there will only be digital cameras from Canon. It's a brave new world. ARM Cortex. How about it? How about ARM Cortex? And Molly. These are just some new phone CPUs that are coming out. Kind of the same story as the AR, VR stuff. Just some improvements. And Hot Hardware has way more details than anybody cares about on this article. If you're excited about these, you can check them out. But yeah, your new phone is, if it's a high-end phone, it's likely to be running one of these things. So I don't really have a lot to say about this. Probably shouldn't have even included this story, but I did, so there it is. I didn't switch the camera back to myself, but that's okay, because this story is incredible. It's a little bit biased, theoutline.com, a little biased against the crypto monkeys. But a group of Bitcoin nerds, yeah, that word's not overused, are trying to secede from America. Bitcointopia. How does that sound? How would you like to live there? Well, you can, or at least you can put down half a Bitcoin to reserve your spot. This will be in the middle of the Nevada desert. Tough place to get water. Water shortages happening on the West Coast, and Nevada desert, not a wet place, but an easy place to buy land. And that's what these people have done. They've bought up a bunch of land in the Nevada desert, and they are looking to start Bitcointopia. Now, they've released 2 major documents, one of which is insane. It's madness. It's talking about seceding from America and using some ancient militia type law to establish their own government in the Nevada desert. And they're just out of their minds. And then the other document is a little less crazy, and it talks about how they want to establish a town where everybody Bitcoin is sort of the transactional basis for everything, and the cops are drones, and very entertaining stuff. I would recommend you check it out. I would not recommend that you pay the introductory half a Bitcoin fee. I don't see this working out. I don't think the American government will be cool to give up a piece of Nevada to Bitcointopia. Maybe they will. I don't think it'll happen. There is a tent. There's like a town center, which is a tent. So there's a tent in Bitcointopia. They have purchased land. So it could turn into like a hippie commune type of thing. But for those of you that are younger, I would, if you're thinking you're a young person, you're pie in the sky, you're like, Bitcointopia, man, that's the future. That's where I want to be. I would caution you to search on YouTube and go and look at the Branch Davidian videos in Waco, Texas. I'm not going to say anything more about it, but I would encourage you to look at those before you buy into Bitcointopia, because it might not end well. Russia. Those filthy Russians, when they're not hacking us, they're talking about cryptocurrencies. And the Central Bank of Russia has come out and they've said crypto assets do not pose a risk to global financial stability. Good news, right? But if you read a little more into it, what they've said is they don't pose a risk to financial stability because they're a small part of the overall transactions. But if they became a big part of the overall transactions, huge risk. So they're not really advocating cryptocurrencies as such. But Cointelegraph, I think, just was looking for a headline. And here it is. Russian central bank. They're okay with them for now, as long as they don't get any bigger. This one's not loading. Oh, GDPR notice. Speaking of cryptocurrency, in case you didn't notice, we're in the cryptocurrency section. That's what this whole section's about. In Scotland, a hospital has opened a rehab program for cryptocurrency addicts. They can fix you if you're addicted to cryptocurrencies. You can go and you can check in. And the great thing about this story, the thing I enjoyed most about this story, is the checklist of things that might point to you having a cryptocurrency addiction. I'll just read a few. Do you spend a lot of time thinking about different types of cryptocurrencies? I don't. So I'm good on that one. Are you spending large amounts on cryptocurrency? I'm not. I'm good on that. Have you tried to slow down or completely stop using cryptocurrency, but have not been able to? That's a big one, I think. That's a red flag right there. And it just goes on. And do you become irritable or restless when you cut down on cryptocurrency trading? This is probably a good checklist. If you can say yes to 3 or 4 of these things, then yeah, you might have a problem. I'm not sure exactly what. I would like to see what the treatment process is for stopping cryptocurrency. Is it like AA? Do you have to submit to a higher power in order to stop trading Ethereum? I don't know. I would like to know more about that. I'll tell you what. If you're in Scotland and you go to the crypto thing, get in touch with us because we would like to learn more about it. Maybe interview you, maybe do a news special. Waymo. You know what Waymo's doing? They're buying way more cars. Jesus Christ. So they bought 600 Chrysler Pacificas. Yeah, that's an exciting car, right? Well, they're going to buy like 64,000 more of those things because they are ready. They are ready and they're willing. 62,000, I'm sorry. Don't put a correction in the comments. 62,000 Chrysler Pacificas, the least interesting car purchase in the history of man. And they, a lot of people are speculating. They haven't really said exactly what they're going to do with these, but a lot of people are speculating. You don't buy 62,000 cars unless you are almost ready to roll out a commercial service. And it seems like Waymo might be on the verge of getting ready for a van ride sharing autonomous type of deal coming out. And we've seen Uber with several setbacks, you know, like running over a homeless woman. We've seen Tesla with their Autopilot, several setbacks. We'll talk about a few more at the end of the news because I love talking about Tesla wrecks. But Waymo, they haven't had a controversy, and maybe secretly they're getting it right, you know. So they bought a bunch of Chrysler Pacificas, and who knows? Maybe they're going to be the first, just quietly, that sleeper hit that just comes in, nobody knows about them, and boom, commercializes it. I won't be using that service. I don't like self-driving cars. But you know what I like even less than self-driving? And this is controversial, but I'm going to take a stand. Skin cancer. I'm against it. I do not approve of skin cancer. But the good news is AI is amazing at diagnosing skin cancer. So they got together a bunch of dermatologists, and a lot of them were what they referred to as expert level dermatologists. I don't know how they judge that. I would like to know, is it sort of like a ladder system like StarCraft where you compete at recognizing skin cancers and you get ranked, you know, like diamond level and grandmaster dermatologist? I don't know. But anyway, they brought in the best of the best, and they showed them 100 pictures of possibly just a mole or possibly melanoma, right? It's like a hot or not type thing. And they managed to do like 80, 70 percentile. The AI beat them at that. And then they did a full history, like here's everything about the patient. And the doctors did much better when that was introduced. But the AI still beat them. So pretty impressive that AI can now detect skin cancer. Of course, nobody's using this exclusively. Nobody's just using AI to detect skin cancer. But it's cool. You know, you could go in, you could like do like a 3D scan of your body, and the AI could look you over. If it sees anything suspicious, let the doctor look at that. AI healthcare it's maybe bad, but I think it's a positive overall. It's a good thing. The whole payment system of American healthcare, of course, completely nullifies any use of AI because we can't afford it. But assuming that someday we get beyond this whole insurance paradigm, I'm looking forward to doing business with an AI. You know, just let them look me over, whatever. Swallow some of those pills. You know, check out my insides. Maybe like take a shot of nanites or something so they check out my lungs and so forth. It's when I get to be old enough, you know, you hit a certain age and you're just always at the hospital. I'm hoping when I get there, I'm just hanging out with robots all the time. That's my hope. I don't know if I'll live to see it. Maybe not, you know. But who knows? I should have put this with the Atari story, but I didn't. Like I said, I've stopped caring at this point. But artificial intelligence, Atari games, you'd think an Atari game, they were pretty simple, right? I mean, Atari, what do they have, 2 buttons and a joystick? How can an AI not figure that out? Well, it turns out games like Montezuma's Revenge, I've never played that. I'm curious to Actually, you know what? I forgot to mention during the Atari. That was this episode, right? This is hard, I don't remember, but you can play all those Atari games in Java. You can play them in your browser. So I was like, oh, I should check out Montezuma's Revenge in my browser, right? Because anyway, AI is bad at it because of the way that it works. You don't get a lot of feedback in Montezuma's Revenge. So the first thing you need to do is get a key. And between getting the key and starting the game, you don't get points. So the AI doesn't know if it's winning or not. And it's hard for the AI algorithms to figure out it's like, am I doing well? I don't know if I'm doing well. I can't tell because you're not giving me any feedback. The game doesn't give a lot of feedback. So what do? They let them watch videos. They went to YouTube, people playing these games, and they were like, hey, DeepMind, go watch these videos and figure out how to play this game. And sure enough, DeepMind figured it out. If it's figured out with audio cues and visual cues and comparing itself to these videos, it figured out how to beat Montezuma's Revenge. Now, how that would apply to anything else in the world, no one knows. Maybe not at all. This might be the most useless application of AI ever. But, CNN, I don't want the news summarized each morning. Anderson Cooper, I don't. It's locked up. Yeah, a ridiculous use of AI, but maybe it's a stepping stone. Maybe we'll see something else from it. Who can tell? Well, I really should have put this next to the Waymo story because it's about self-driving cars, but I didn't. So pretend that I did. GM and Softbank. Now, we have in the past referred to Softbank as a bank. Softbank. It's not a bank. It's actually just a bunch of investors in Japan. But anyway, they're putting $3 billion, that is a lot of money, a lot of dollars, towards GM's self-driving cars. So like Waymo, all of a sudden GM getting a big shot in the arm. SoftBank making a big bet on GM self-driving cars. With, a lot of these companies, they are developing self-driving technology, but they don't have the means to build the cars. And we talked about, like the people at Google. Google was like, go build a car so we can test our self-driving technology. And the Google nerds who were good at AI couldn't build a car. They were crap at it. So SoftBank is saying, hey, GM, you know how to build cars. Let's partner with these other AI companies and let's make some self-driving cars. And they're going to do that. There's not a lot else to that story, but, self-driving cars are exciting. Or not. Actually, I'm not excited about self-driving cars. Are you? I don't care. What I do like about self-driving cars, and man, what a segue. I like it when they crash because I like talking about it. And I like it even better. Even better when they're Teslas. I don't have anything specifically against Tesla. It's the Tesla apologists that I don't like. Well, how about this Model 3 so this guy has the most amazing name. Let me find this guy's name. Yu Zhu. What a great name. Yu Zhu. His parents knew what they were doing. Anyway, Yu Zhu is on fire for electronic vehicles, or EVs, as you might call them if you're a douchebag. And so he bought a Model 3, drove it all over North America, and said, you know what? I'm not done. I'm going to Europe. So he put it on a plane, because Teslas don't go underwater, in case you were not clear on that. Teslas plus water, bad news. So he had it flown over to Europe, and he went to Europe and began a cross-country tour of Europe in his electronic vehicle, his Tesla Model 3. What happened? Crashed while on... It's not scrolling. There we go. Crashed in autonomous mode on autopilot and the entire wheel. Look at that. Gone. Couldn't get the door open properly, he said. I think he had to go out the other side. And this is a guy who, a lot of these people you might think just, gold diggers looking for a settlement or whatever. This guy is in love with Tesla. He is one of you. If you're one of those people who's like angrily commenting right now, he's one of you. And so he's been sort of crestfallen. He's like, oh, I wanted to spread the word of the Model 3 and how good it was, but it's crashed. And his insurance is not going to cover anything about it because he was in Europe. Now, Tesla has responded. He actually announced that he was going to do this, and Tesla was like, don't do that. Because, first of all, we haven't run Teslas in Europe. And this was in Greece, but those European roads, we're not so sure that it will quite understand everything about them yet. We need to build that into the Tesla system. And what's more, it's not going to have an internet connection in Europe. So you're not going to get updates, and you should not do this. And he did it anyway. So, but it does go to show you that autopilot is not autopilot. Now, in the past we talked about autopilot, those people were, they're doing crossword puzzles or whatever, checking their phones or asleep or whatever. This guy claims he was paying attention, but the car veered so quickly that he didn't have time to react and went right into kind of a divider, similar to the California wreck. So, yeah, seems like a legitimate crash, but Tesla cannot get the logs off of this thing, again, because there is no network in Europe for the Tesla cars. So he's going to ship it back to San Francisco, and we'll see. But could be nothing. Could be a terrible Tesla crash. And I know that you hate hearing about Tesla crashes. I know that many of you are angered by that. And that's why I included this story about another Tesla crash. This one ran into a police car. It seems like Teslas might hate emergency services. They've hit 2 fire trucks, and now they've hit a police car. Maybe there's a bit of racism. AI has been known to be racist. So the Tesla AI might be racist against first responders. Might just be like a unintended glitch in the system. Anyway, this was a Tesla that was on autopilot, and the owner was not paying attention, and it smashed right into a police car. Now, this does raise the question, if you look at this picture here, are you a caregiver? I'm not. This police car was like, just half-ass parked on the sidewalk there. Cops have a bad habit of just parking wherever they want. It's very annoying. And maybe the Tesla just wasn't prepared for a car to be half off of the road, but it does seem like that would be something that the Tesla should account for. Anyway, the police weighed in, and the police actually said something very damning to Tesla. He was like, why do these Teslas keep running into us? So do they hate us? Whatever. He was trying to be cute, but I'm sure Musk is grinding his teeth over this one. Anyway, that's the last story. And I didn't drink much this episode because I feel like it's losing quality as we go. But I've committed to it at this point, so I'm, whatever. A little over half. But that's the end of this episode. This has been... I don't remember. AI for sure. Hardware and crypto. That's what it was. So Friday will be everything else. There's a little bit of gaming news, a little bit of science. There's the nonsense, which the nonsense crop, not great this week. I shouldn't say that. I should hype it up. The nonsense is amazing this week. And some other stuff, but yeah. So tune back in on Friday, and what else can I say?